It's easy to overlook the quiet significance of work done day in and day out, especially when we don't have the lens to appreciate the future impact of that work. Everyday wonder is that lens that brings work back into a greater focus. And everyday wonder reminds us that we can do more than dream our dreams. We can actually bring our dream to life within and around us. We can choose to be good at something that helps others and contribute to the greater outcomes. Ernest Holmes offers these ideas, one from the Science of Mind and one from Can We Talk to God? From our Science of Mind textbook on page 287, Ernest writes, all our beautiful dreams, all our wishing and praying for material good will reach no higher level in our experience than our belief in the power of God and in its willingness to help us. And then from Can We Talk to God on page 28, we are the chemist in the laboratory of the infinite. What shall we produce? We are chemists in the laboratory of the infinite. What shall we produce? And so in response to that question, I have identified 3 possibilities. One is to be a difference maker. The second is to be a way maker. And the third is to be a risk taker. And so our first insight, a difference maker. The dream job belongs to the dreamer and is anchored in the individual's sense of wonder. And I saw this message on an email that I subscribed to that I thought was very appropriate for today. And it reads, I used to teach school and the kids would fear tests. Why? Because tests would show them their failures. But that's not the truth about tests. A test is to reveal what you don't know so that you can then move forward in the direction and find out what it is to know. And this is all about preparation. And living our dream is about preparation. And this is why we have this opportunity, especially in our spiritual community and the teachings of Science of Mind, to really play in the laboratory of the infinite and to discover what is, and to allow it to be revealed to us what it is that we are to know. This journey extends beyond salary and status and so on. It becomes the significance of what we wish to achieve day by day and hour by hour. Engagement is a word that is used in the workplace or used to describe work that draws you in, that holds your attention, that tugs at your heartstrings and gives you a sense of self-worth. How many of us are at this moment engaged in what it is that we're doing? Whether we are actively employed in a field outside, whether we are self-employed entrepreneurs, whether we are retired and living in a different phase of life, is what we're doing holding our attention and drawing us in and tugging at our heartstrings and giving us a sense of self-worth? When we feel we're making a valuable contribution to the world, we can develop a passion for our work, making it good for all. Individuals who may have completed one or more career paths, those who may have moved into retired status, and continue to be engaged, doing along with those who are still on their career path, recognize a clear point of engagement is the level of meaningfulness found in jobs, careers, and professions that help others. And so what we're talking about is a part of our vision and mission here at the Monterey Center, and that is to be a center that empowers each one of us to do good in the world. And that is the essence for me of helping others, is to do good in the world. Ernest Holmes offers this thought from This Thing Called You. Seek to make work your prayer, your believing an act, your living an art. It is then that the object of your faith will be made visible to you. It is then that you shall kiss the lips of your desire. I love the poetic writing of Ernest Holmes that comes through in some of his pieces. I'm just going to digress for a minute. A lot of people who have taken our classes say that the Science of Mind textbook, which is our basic teaching tool, is rather heady. And I agree. There are parts of the textbook that it almost feels like you need an advanced degree to figure out some of it. And yet in the other writings of Ernest, you really see his true essence, his nature, his wit, his humor that's coming through. And actually, in this thing called You, the portion that I just read, where he says, it is then that you will kiss the lips of your desire, reminds me a lot of the expressions that we find in Rumi. And so there's this interconnectedness that shows up. Our second insight is that of a waymaker. The thought of a dream job is sometimes less than about the job itself. It is about what we can add to a person's life beyond our role or our specific job description. All of the ingredients for a fulfilling life do not have to come from a 9 to 5. And I know that many of us live that experience and witness those who live that experience. It's possible to find right livelihood that accomplishes the necessary things, such as financial stability, providing for a family while allowing time for enjoyment and building great relationships along the way. I remember when my wife chose to take early retirement from the University of California at Berkeley. Her colleagues and the administrators that she worked with kept trying to dangle the carrot and say, you know, what is it that you want to do? You know, we'll create the job. You write the description and we'll figure out a way to create it. And all under the guise of, well, you know, well, what are you going to do without Berkeley? Because their lives centered around Cal. You know, it was the whole being of their existence. And she said, there's life beyond Cal. There's life beyond Cal. And I have engaged in some of those things that bring me fulfillment and bring me meaning that exceed the day-to-day routine of this job. And so I'm out of here. And she actually gave them a year's notice to prepare. And it was a decision, and it was a choice that came out of deep thought, and deep prayer, and deep introspection into really defining, what does the next phase of my life look like? And so I always honored and saluted her for taking that bold step to go out at an early age, and then to find fulfilling avenues of her life in various areas. Intrinsic value is found in volunteering, philanthropy, and doing good in the world. And the Buddha invites us to set your heart on doing good. Do it over and over again, and you will be fulfilled with joy. And our third insight is that of being a risk taker. You know, I previously worked in the insurance industry before answering the call to come into ministry and be of service at a different area. And as an underwriter, one of our responsibilities was to evaluate the application from the terms of risk to the company. You know, what is the risk of this particular piece of paper that I'm looking at? You know, the agent has had the opportunity to interface and interact with the customer. And as an underwriter, I'm just looking at this piece of paper and making an analysis based on the information that's provided, and perhaps a conversation with the agent that gives me some more insight into whether this particular applicant is going to be a good match for the company. So I'm taking a risk on behalf of the company. We also are invited to take a risk on behalf of our own selves. Choosing a well-lived life is a risk. Choosing to live the dream deep within the heart, the mind, and the soul is risky. And still, the greatest risk of all is to die without truly living. So why not risk in the name of your dreams and a better way of being? Yesterday, we held a memorial service for our beloved Lyle Young. And in that service, I asked the question of those in attendance, what constitutes a well-lived life? And there are many opportunities and many choices to respond to this question based on our personal point of view and our beliefs and our values about what a well-lived life looks like. Quite often it's easier to describe what we believe to be a well-lived life of another rather than to see it in our own selves. So the invitation is to do a little self-introspection, a little self-examination, and ask, what does it really mean to me and for me to live a well-lived life? Living an example life through questioning, reflecting, and wondering improves one's outlook. Whether actively retired, seeking a new career, or expanding in one's current career, go well into the light of your own life, your dream, and the work that is you. Martin Luther King Jr. reminds us that every person must decide whether they will walk in the light of creative altruism or the darkness of destructive selfishness. And so in summary, I offer this to us today. Make everyday wonder be the light that guides you. It is the perfect path created by only your dream and your presence in this world. Allow our work in the laboratory of the infinite to be that which changes everything. Allow it to be that catalyst for the change, and recognizing that everyday wonder is constantly and consistently available to each and every one of us. Enjoying wonder can give to each one of us the best chance to live the dream, including the vital ingredients of engaging work, good colleagues, and a good life fit. The focus of being good at something allows us to discover within ourselves that which is good and that which can be of value. And again, returning to Ernest Holmes and our Science of Mind textbook on page 83 are these words. It is necessary that soul and body should exist because spirit, without manifestation, would construct only a dream world, never committing or coming to self-realization. To express, there must be a medium through which spirit manifests, and there must be a manifestation, hence the soul and body. So this is a reminder that we are body, mind, and spirit. We're soul, body, and mind. And so our personal practical application for this week is a statement and a challenge, if you will, that says, come on already. Let's get with this. Be clear and honest about what you want from life. And this doesn't matter what stage we are at our life, because each day we choose to have the experience that we choose. So be clear and honest about what it is that you want from life. And then make your demand known. Declare what it is that you want from life. Focus on possibilities and choose to live fully every day. And our affirmation for this week is, the dream of God is awake and alive in me. Let us say this together. The dream of God is alive and awake within me. Let us pray together. Knowing the truth of being at play in the infinite laboratory, the creative laboratory of the infinite, I know it is out of this laboratory that emerges the one life, the one truth, the one power, the one essence of all that there is. And I am an expression of this laboratory. And as this is true for me, it is true for all beings everywhere present on this planet. Each one an expression of the divine, each one an expression of the infinite. And so I speak my word for this moment in time, declaring that as I live my dream, I create the opportunity for each one to live their dream. And live the dream by making our demands known to the universe, knowing that the Spirit always says yes. The Spirit always says yes. And so I make my demand known from the perspective of what is mine to know, what is mine to do, and what is mine to be. And as I listen for the answers, I then follow. And as I declare this truth for myself, I declare it for each one that is gathered here in this physical space this morning, and those who are joining us virtually at whatever time and point they join, knowing that to live the dream, to live a life fulfilled, requires taking a risk. And so I take the risk this morning and I stand boldly in my faith, and I stand boldly in my truth and declare that God is the only power in my life. I speak my word of blessing and healing for those who are desiring right livelihood, those who are experiencing health challenges or health opportunities, those who are seeking the close connection of a loved one, those who are seeking to be recognized for their worth and their value, and for those who are seeking to just be a healing presence on the planet, knowing that the answer to all of these requests is yes. And so for this and so much more, I am eternally grateful. And I release this word back into the law, which always says yes, allowing it to be. I invite us to affirm this together by saying, and so it is. And I just remind us that we have a divine opportunity each day and every day to reach out and connect with a practitioner or minister for prayer support for gratitude, as well as prayer support for those things that we are choosing to welcome into our life. And the contact information for the ministers and practitioners here at the Monterey Center can be found in our newsletter and also on our website at www.montereycsl.org. So we invite you to allow us to be in service to you. And I'm going to jump into an announcement that I had for later, but I'm inviting us now to save the date of October 1st, Saturday, October 1st. And Saturday, October 1st, the ministers and practitioners here at Monterey will be offering a spiritual tune-up from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. We will offer the spiritual tune-ups in person here at the center, as well as via Zoom for those of you who may not live in close proximity to the center or may have Zoom as a preference for a Saturday morning activity. But we do invite you to do so. We will have a sign-up list available on next Sunday for you to sign up for a time slot. And this is our gift to our spiritual community. This will be a 15 to 20-minute spiritual tune-up. And love offering is appreciated but not required. This is a gift to come and take part in that gift. And now let us celebrate our community through our tithes and offerings. And we have our affirmation of abundance. Let us say that together. I recognize the presence of God within as a source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the uninterrupted flow of abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And in gratitude again for the loving ways that you support this community by mailing in your tithes and offerings to our physical building, and that address is on the screen, 400 West Franklin Street in Monterey. You may also text to give, and the phone number is on the screen. And you may give through our secure website, www.montereycsl.org. And again, we thank you for the loving ways that you contribute and support the mission and the vision of this center that allows us to continue to expand our in-reach within our own community and our outreach into the broader community. There are times in our community where we have the opportunity to honor individuals who have made significant contributions to our center. And we have that opportunity this morning to honor someone who continually serves and serves and serves and gives and gives and gives. And so I would like to invite Reverend Cindy and Alex, our board president and vice president, to join me here on the stage. And I would also like to invite our honoree, Bobby Hall, to join us on the stage. We pulled off the surprise. You can come closer.
Bobby, my darling. Yeah. It is my joy and my honor, as it is Alex's, to speak of your many accomplishments this morning. And you must stand here and listen. For those of you who may not know, Bobby has served as president of the Board of Trustees for 8.25 years, from November 2013 to February of 2022. During that time, there were several years when this spiritual community was without a lead minister. And the continuity of the church rested with the Board of Trustees. Bobby, among her many tasks with the other board members, ensured the continuity of the church by candidating twice for new ministers and just mainly keeping this wonderful spiritual community going in a steady way. And she also kept us in close contact with our international home office during those years. In recent years, Bobby has stepped up to represent this spiritual community on an international level as the representative to the Centers for Spiritual Living Member Council. She further took on a role as note taker for the CSL Executive Realignment Committee in their recent work on realigning the international management structure. This is in addition to putting together our weekly e-blast, helping on Sunday mornings with Facebook Live as part of the tech team. But Bobby's special love is the care and feeding of books. She served as manager of the bookstore for many, many years. Many, I don't even remember how many. Yeah, since how, that's right. It's been a long time. When Centers for Spiritual Living launched the International Archives in Denver, Bobby spent hundreds of hours over several years sorting through our extensive historic library, sorting, cleaning, listing, packing up books to offer to the archives or to pass on to a new home where they needed to be. Bobby brings many gifts to her labors and to each of us through her centered and grounded presence. You do. And her willingness to remind us of principle when we get caught up in our dramas.
Yes.
And her love and devotion to this center. For these and many other labors of love, the Board of Trustees have decided to honor Bobby by renaming the library the Bobby Hall Library.
Let's see, can we
Oh, yes, put it in front of them.
get it?
We sure can.
Yay.
Yay.
Now, for those of us here in the sanctuary who are able and wish to, please join us upstairs after the service to install this new plaque on the wall beside the library. And then stay for coffee and refreshments. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Would you like to say something?
Well, this is a surprise. A very unexpected surprise, and I am deeply, deeply honored to have received this. Because I better not step too far out of it. Receive this salutation, and just so you know, it's been my distinct and very deep pleasure to do everything she listed. And for you to know that the return was greater in terms of my self-confidence and my just pure love of this teaching and this center. And so, thank you. I am very grateful.
Let me have this for a moment. Thank you. It's always a joy to honor and recognize those who gives selflessly. I think I said that word correctly. Who give from their heart, who give them our heart. We appreciate you participating in this. Just a few more highlights for our virtual community. Today, after service, is our soul collage. You're invited to, those in the sanctuary are invited to stay. And those who are in Zoom may join us also. And I believe there will be other people joining via Zoom to participate in this. The meeting is from 12 to 2 and is facilitated by Denise Kaku. On Wednesday, and this is in the newsletter, so I would invite you to go to the newsletter for the specific details. But our Centers for Spiritual Living communities are hosting a documentary that celebrates the power of gratitude to ignite well-being. And this is a film preview that is taking place in Europe, in North America and in Europe. And the link for that, along with the access, is in the newsletter. So I invite you to go to the newsletter. And if you're not a subscriber to our newsletter, this would be a great opportunity to do so. And so with this, we say thank you to our virtual community, and we invite you to join us next week as we will conclude our theme for September, which is work. And the message will be falling forward. in perfect time for the change of the season as we move into the fall. And so to our virtual community, we say thank you, we love you, God bless you.